Welcome to Jobbed Out, the wrestling editorial that reminds you that this might be the first and maybe the only time I ever defend Randy Orton. I know, out of nowhere, right?
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
I don't know what my problem is when it comes to Randy Orton. Maybe it's that the difference between face Orton and heel Orton is flashing the guns. Maybe it's because of the stories of him bullying people backstage, shitting in bags. Maybe it's because of all the free passes he's gotten with the drug policy over and over and over. Hell, I liked him in the RNN days. I even enjoyed his early Evolution matches, and then he beat Chris Benoit, who, contrary to the belief of my comment section, I actually really enjoyed. I was a huge Benoit fan when he was alive and not killing people. Anyway, Orton has been the center of a rather weird piece of news for quite a while now. In fact, this has been going on for over 10 years, so let's get everybody up to speed. If you were asked to describe what physically makes Orton look different from other wrestlers, one of the first things that usually comes to mind is the tattoo work. Sure, plenty of wrestlers have sleeves now, but Orton's arms made him stand out, especially in the late 2000s when the WWE was loaded with probably the most generic performers imaginable. Well, in 2008, the WWE was looking to get some new merch out for Orton, and that new merch included nylon sleeves so that you too could have arms to look like the Apex Predator. Normally this would be no big deal, but this time word had circulated to Catherine Alexander, Randy Orton's tattoo artist from Diablo Inc. Alexander had worked on Orton's tats all the way back to 2003, and when Alexander heard that her design was going to be sold on nylons for somebody else, she immediately contacted the WWE, stating that the tattoo design was her copyright and that she was willing to license the reproductions of her work if they still decided to sell. The WWE lawyers laughed at her and stated that Randy Orton was their wrestler. I should point out that, in a way, Alexander was actually right here, because it's not Randy Orton they were looking to sell at WWE's shop. It was her art on their clothing. Not much came of it though, and to my knowledge, the sleeves were never sold, but this was far from over. Over the years, WWE's video games have increased immensely when it came to quality of graphics. Better body scans, higher polygon counts, detail and realism took center stage in the WWE 2K games. Well, except for that one time. But I digress. Alexander's been moving forward with a lawsuit against the WWE and Take-Two Interactive, the company behind the 2K franchise, all over them scanning her tattoo work and using them on Randy Orton's character in games going back to 2018. There's been an update this week though, as the judge has decided that this case will proceed in front of a jury. Now this could have some really interesting connotations with so many video games using real-life personalities in their games moving forward. It's not like the days of NHL 94 where almost everybody's sprites looked exactly the same, or WCW NWO Revenge where you could just put a gray smudge on a sprite and call it a day. Take-Two's actually already faced a lawsuit over this, and they won it, when they were sued over tattoos appearing on basketball players in its NBA games. Basically, the court ruled that the sprites were small enough and the tattoos insignificant enough that they couldn't infringe on copyrights, and that you can't copyright just the fact that they have a tattoo without immense detail being shown behind them. This is a bit different though for the WWE, since the performers are large on the screen and it's easy for tattoos to identify the performer. But I still don't like Catherine Alexander's chances here. One, because as the WWE tried to use as a defense initially, it's Randy Orton that they're selling this time around, not his arm sleeves. Two, because there never seemed to be a licensing agreement in place before Orton got the tattoo work done. His body was not Alexander's property, and she doesn't own what he does with it. To say that he can't work, knowing he was already a public figure before she began inking him, because her art is permanently fixed to his arms? That feels more illegal than no-compete clauses on independent contractors. And that's what it's all going to come down to here, because I don't see how somebody can convince a jury of peers that Randy Orton's entire career needs her permission because she took a needle to his biceps. It's just not happening. Once again though, the nylon sleeves, sure, because you're selling the design, you're not selling the person who had the design on them. But games, television, action figures, when you're playing a WWE game, you're playing Randy Orton, so that's a lot tougher. And with a precedent already in place, it's really unlikely that Alexander is going to win this. Hell, even if there was a licensing agreement in place back in 2003 when Orton initially got the tattoo work started, the ultimate goal would have been for Alexander to control Orton's entire public persona and likeness. Pretty sure that would get struck down faster than an RKO in the courts. That's just my opinion though. What do you think? Does Catherine Alexander, Randy Orton's tattoo artist, have a claim to her work being seen by millions without compensation? Or is a human body different enough from a canvas for painting that you can't claim copyright on a living creature? Let me know what you think in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more, because I want you to be a part of the conversation too. For now though, I better get my shoulders off the mat, so thank you for tuning in to Jobbed Out. I'll catch you next time.